Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And we are here with Tim's Nation to bring you another Warhammer 40K battle report. Continuing with Pariah Nexus. Testing out all of our factions, bringing new stuff, crazy stuff, weird stuff, and fun stuff all here on the channel. And today is no different than the last. I will be bringing the Orks, the Dread Mobb. Couple changes since Mega Knobs went up in points, had to make some tweaks in there, but got a really cool, fun unit that I'm very excited to play. And Lane is playing Iron Hands.
No.
Lane is playing Space Wolves?
No.
Are you meta chasing the Blood Angels?
Oh, you know me, always after the meta.
Exactly. No. That's right. Lane is bringing his DeathWatch back.
Different DeathWatch.
Yeah, I was going to say, but something special.
Yeah, so I've been running the Devastating Wound DeathWatch, the DevWatch on the channel a lot. I love that. I'm still using that for competitive purposes. I'm actually using that in a tournament this coming weekend, a team tournament. But today I'm bringing DeathWatch in the Vanguard Spearhead detachment. So this is sneaky DeathWatch. So I don't have my Tome of Ectoclades. I can't reroll all hits and wounds into 2 targets per turn. Gonna have to find some other ways to do damage. And it's based more on kind of messing with my opponent's game rather than as much damage as I can possibly put into a list. So I have a Watchmaster who's going to make your stratagems more expensive. I also have a Phobos Lieutenant who's got enhancements going to make your strats more expensive. You're going to be neg 1 to hit me if I'm farther away from you. I have suppressors that'll make you neg 1 to hit. I have a Redeemer that's going to go up in your face and be a huge Overwatch threat. I'm just going to mess with your game, man. I
told Lane, I made jokes before this. I was like, wow, so I'm playing the army that just gets in your face and goes, wah. Mm-hmm. And you're playing the army that goes, I see what you did there, but I'm just going to do these things, wiggle my fingers and say, no.
Yeah, it gives me aches and pains. I feel
these
really
are the
weird.
Lists that I usually play. I play all the weird of like, hey, you're going to table me, but somehow I still win the game. Not quite the same with this list. I've looked at it a bit. Not quite the same.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get tabled, but it's also not as much damage that could have squeezed in there. So
I am Lane's muse.
Okay. If that makes you feel better.
This is the DJ tribute army. I will say it.
Sure. Whatever.
That's what I'll believe. It's how I'll go to sleep tonight, and anything else you tell me, I will just completely ignore. Selective hearing. It's great when you have kids.
I'll destroy you with what you inspired. So.
Exactly. As always, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell to get notified on all the content we bring you here on the channel. And with that being said, let's jump over into these lists. Lane, why don't you actually showcase and show us what you're bringing today?
All right, we have DeathWatch models, but in the Vanguard Spearhead detachment. So we've got 3 characters. We do have the Watchmaster as our warlord, and he has the Blade-Driven Deep enhancement. We do have a Lieutenant in Phobos armor with the enhancement Shadow War Veterans, and then we have a regular Librarian. It's a Phobos Librarian model, guys, but I'm using it as a regular Space Marine Librarian. For Battle Line, we do have 1 squad, 10-man squad of DeathWatch veterans. Their points went down a little bit, so they're 200 for 10. We have 2 5-mans of Assault Intercessors with jump packs. We have a 6-man Plasma Inceptor squad, a 5-man Infiltrator squad, a Land Raider Redeemer with those huge flamers on there. We've got a Proteus kill team, and then we've got 2 suppressor squads. I'm going to try these suppressors. And 1 5-man Terminator Assault Squad. Not a DeathWatch Terminator, just Terminator Assault Squad. All right, DJ, what are you bringing today?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to WOG. Here it is, the Dread Mobb. This is an
Did you just pronounce the G in WA?
Isn't it? Isn't it WOG?
I think everybody pronounces it without the G. It's WA.
See, I think that's how people say it.
You're some kind of noob if you say WOG.
See, that's what I wasn't sure about, if it was because I'm not an Orc player. Is it WOG or WA?
I think you're just supposed to WA. The GH is implied. Continue.
All right, I want to redo it then. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to WA. Here is my Orc list with Orc models in an Orc detachment. Lane could learn a thing or 3 from me. And in this list, we are doing the Dread Mobb, so that means a lot of walkers. We have Gork and Mork making an appearance, as well as 18, count them, 18 Killicans. We are going to be bringing a truck that has just 2 Mega Knobs, led by a Mech and Mega Armor, and the Tank Bustas, led by a Mech themselves. We will have 2 individual Mechs floating around on the battlefield, doing all sorts of Mech stuff, and then we have 30 Grots. Those guys, 10 of them are going to be in the Mork and Gorkanaut, and 10 of them are going to be on the field. And last and surely not least is my 5 Storm Boys. Storm Boys being very, very cheap. 65 points for 5 of them. They deep strike. And yeah, just all around, just decent utility tool for their cost.
If they score you any points, they're worth it. That's
Right,
65 points.
right. Like
if they give you 2 points or 4 points, it's totally worth it.
Right, like after this change, I was looking through, especially like Necrons, and I was like, okay, what are some deep strike agents and stuff like that? And man, I was going through, and it's like, wow, there really isn't that much there. Like Storm Boys really are in like they're not broken by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just one of the tools in the tool belt that really puts them in a class of their own, being so cheap and a deep strike unit. Not to mention the fact that because they're orcs, if they charge and hit you, they're gonna hurt you. You know, I still got a kill claw or a power claw in there because free upgrades. You know. So definitely positive there, but I'm really super excited to get the tank busters on the table.
Yeah, it'll be good to see if they actually do anything today. Hopefully they kill something. I didn't give you very many tanks to deal with, and the Land Raider's going to be a little tough to chew into, but hopefully they pop a couple Marines.
No, you didn't, but yeah, with the fact of them having the flat 3 damage, it's really nice into some of your Graviton armor, Ooby-Joobies, guys. Yeah, that's right. I'm purposely going to butcher every single thing with Marines today because we're playing Orcs. So everything I can call Interceptors and supercessors. I'm gonna butcher everything that I say with them all day long.
You gotta get that orc accent. Oi, supercessors.
Yeah, them boys. So, but the tank buses have the high strength. They do have still high yield. The mech is there, so they get access to all of my little extra mech stuff. I considered originally giving them the enhancement to give them the boosted, the extra dice, but in the end, like last game that I played with that extra, the one enhancement that gives me an extra dice for it, last game I played, I was rolling doubles most of the time. So it really, right now, I have a sour taste in my mouth for that enhancement. But yeah, there's still a lot. Like the mech just gives them that boosted ability. And one thing I haven't been doing in our games that I definitely need to do is shoot with the mechs when I get the chance. Their silly custom Mega Blasta is like, it's actually really good. It's like, here,
if it hits,
have a pistol. Yeah. Well, that is the thing with all orc.
Got to hit first.
Yeah.
Then it's good.
So what are you looking forward to? I got the tank busters. I'm looking forward to getting them out there and seeing what they can do. What's some of the flash that you're hoping for out of this? I've
got suppressors on the list. I don't think anybody really runs them. They're kind of expensive at 85 points for 3 Marines because people look at them and they're on 40 millimeter bases. They think they're like Gravis or something, but they're not. They're just T4 2-wound Marines.
Oh, they're 2-wound?
Yep.
See, look at that right there. Yeah. Proof is in the picture right there.
Yeah, but they do have
they're 85 points. That's not too bad. Actually.
Yeah.
Deep strike?
Yeah, they can deep strike. They got a 12-inch move, so they're good for doing secondaries and stuff. But if they shoot something, one of your units, as long as they get a hit on it, and they get 3 attacks apiece, 3 shots apiece with their autocannons, if they hit something, then you are suppressed until the beginning of my next turn. That means that unit that I hit is -1 to hit. So shooting and fighting, you're -1 to hit. As long as that unit's suppressors is on the table. So you could kill them, and then you essentially relieve yourself from being suppressed. But because I'm in the Vanguard, I'm going to be -1 to hit if you're trying to shoot at me for
plus,
a
aren't they like 48-inch range?
Yeah, they're definitely long range.
Yeah, they're super long range.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how well they play. The idea is that you're -1 to hit me whenever I'm more than 12 inches away, but I'm going to have a couple units that are going to be getting up close with you, so I want to tag things that are going to mess with them just to kind of slow that down. Plus, I've got 2 models that give off the 12-inch aura of making your stratagems more expensive. We'll see how much that actually messes with you today, see how long they stick around. So.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because I need to look at more of the orc strats and some of the stuff I've been using, but it's going to be something I keep in my mind because some of my stuff I usually go towards the shooting aspect of, all right, I'm going to go hazardous and re-roll all my hits has been one of the value ones that I go at. And going into this, before we'll get into all the secondary and stuff like that, I kind of built my list to be able to go towards the fixed secondaries. However, you're not giving me a kill target in any which way to shape, so I'm going to be playing tactical. Lane, what are you doing? I
think we're going to do fixed. Bring it down got worse in general, but you've got some high wound count vehicle units. So each of those Gorkanaut and the Morkanaut will be worth 6 points a piece. That's great. You have 4 characters. So if I get all 4, that's 16 points. If I get 36 on my secondaries, I'll be real happy. All
right. Well, we'll see how that plays out for you. Lane, odd or even?
Even. That's a 2.
That is a 2. That is even. So Lane, do you want to deploy first or second?
I'm going to have you drop first.
Yeah, usually that's just how it goes. All right, so that's about it. We'll be back after deployment. And there you have it, folks. We are deployed. Lane, why don't you talk to us about what we are doing here today?
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. We are using, of course, the Pariah Nexus deck. So our deployment is Crucible of Battle. This is the croissant, I guess. And our primary mission is Linchpin. Linchpin is one of the new ones. I like this because it makes your deployment zone objective more important. There are enough missions where your deployment zone objective doesn't count. This one counts extra. So you basically get 3 points for each objective you control. However, if you do control your deployment zone objective, then you get an extra 2 points for each objective you control outside your deployment zone. So basically, if you control your deployment zone is 3 points. If you control your deployment zone and these ones, they're 5 points for those. If you lose your deployment zone, then they're only 3 points.
And last, the mission rule?
Mission rule is just good old Fog of War. Basically just means in turn one, everybody has the benefit of cover, and you cannot use core stratagem. So you can't use CP rerolls, that sort of thing.
Overwatch, interrupt, and shuffling out a mission card.
No, you can use that one.
Oh, you are allowed to use new orders?
Excluding the new order stratagem, so you can use
There you go. Reading the card explains the card. All right, so as far as deployment is concerned, I have the Storm Boys in Deep Strike. Both the Morg and Gork are housing a 10-man squad of Gretchen apiece. And the Mega Knobs and the Tank Busters are hanging out right here in the truck. Otherwise, we are more on the front line. Lane does not have the same heavy firepower as he normally does. There is some good guns. There are some strong guns, but at least with like the Morg and Gorkanaut, I'm over the strength of those and the toughness battle, so there's that. And that's a benefit. Lane does have like some rockets and some heavy hitters, but not to what I'm usually used to seeing with Lane. So I can be a little more aggressive on the line. So we have basically set up in 3 fronts, and we'll see how that plays out, with cans going towards each one of the 3 objectives, and the Gork and Mork on the left and right flank. Gorkanaut over here, and the Morkanaut right up over here. In the center, we do have that truck surrounded by Scorches, the Scorcher cans. And then we just have the one little squad of Gretchen back here holding the objective, and we'll see if I need to secure that up with something else as the game goes on. All right, Lane.
First of all, good news for you, DJ. There is no Gladiator Reaper in this list, so the Gladiator,
Killer.
The Grot Slayer 3000. Yeah. So we've got infiltrators back here just to block out your Storm Boys, or kind of spread out on the table a little bit. I have the infiltrate with this squad, but I didn't push them too far forward in case you got first. I didn't want to get wrecked right away by getting charged by a bunch of killicans if I was in the middle of the table. And then we've got the Land Raider here with the DeathWatch Veteran Squad inside. In Deep Strike, we have a 6-man Plasma Inceptor Squad, and then the 5-man brick of Assault Terminators.
Those are all in Deep Strike.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then what's hanging out over here?
Yeah, just little jump processors.
All right. So all that's left to determine who will go first. Lane, what are you feeling?
Probably want to go second. Get a little closer to me.
Yeah, I kind of would want to go first in this. So I would like to get spread out a bit and start getting some control over the field, so I can make you come into me and not have to push too much further. So, all right, let's let this ice decide. Hey, I get my wish, because that is a 3, kind of hard to see, and that is a 4. So I will be going first. Lane, do you have any scout moves?
I do have 1 scout move on this guy, but I don't think I'm going to use it. We'll just stay where we're at.
All right, so then that's going to be it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play the game. So this is not something I normally do, but we're doing this time. So I started off by drawing Cleanse and Bring It Down. Lane has 1 big vehicle on the field, which is his Land Raider. It's high in the back. I didn't feel that was too confident, and I also didn't have much to do with CP. So I was like, all right, we'll spend the command point, shuffle it out. Oh, storm hostile objectives. Okay, wait, you don't have to score that on turn 1. You could shuffle it back in. So instead, we ended up with recover assets and cleanse. That was our turn. All right, so as far as the turn is concerned, I really wasn't able to cleanse on 2 objectives. Not efficiently, and I could have sacrificed my truck to get my second cleanse, but I want to kind of hold that later in the game. So I kind of stayed back, making sure to keep like a 24-inch threat zone from anything that's moving, anything that's trying to come out. So I really should not get charged on the first turn. I mean, granted, these guys do have the advance and charge capability, so they could charge me, but I feel I could take that hit. Not too bad with like the cans and stuff like that and keep on kicking. Also, I wasn't really able to move the Scorches up because I'm not allowed to use Overwatch on the first turn. Lane reminded me right before I moved my Scorches right in the middle, and he's like, "You're not planning on
strat, not allowed
He's
to
like,
use
"Hey,
it.
you're not planning on Overwatching with them, are you?" I was like, "I totally was." So for the most part, we just kind of stay back. I want to keep coverage. So, you know, if Lane wants to run those guys in, advance and charge, yeah, he's going to turn off some CP and make it kind of tough on me for it. But at least I feel like I have the durability. I feel like I have the durability with the cans to be able to survive through that. And then over here, the Gorkanaut is recovering assets while the Grots are cleansing. And then these Grots back here will recover assets in the home field. So it'll give us a 5 on secondary. And then shooting-wise, not a whole lot happened. We were able to put 2 guys into the Land Raider. No damage there. I mean, he had a 3-up save for the 1 hit that went. And then 3 of these guys were able to shoot down at these Marines. They were able to get an angle, and they picked 1 of them off. So not a whole lot. I'd rather just make Lane make some moves and see what's going on, score my 5 points, holding 2 objectives at this point in time, and see how things go. All right, that's it for the Orks. Over to the DeathWatch.
So my secondaries, I took fixed for this game, bring it down and assassinate. Normally a sure bet, but this is not as hard a hitting as army as I usually play. I don't shoot as hard. We'll see if I end up regretting this decision. But anyways, we are going forward to start wrecking some vehicles. So these guys advanced up, rolled a 3 for their advance because they have the Watchmaster with them. They can advance and shoot and charge. They can do all the things. And then we jumped up with the jump processors to get on the objective 2. Land Raider moves up. We're just going up the middle here to cause some problems. That's it. The suppressors came out here. We're going to try and suppress this unit of Killicans. These suppressors, I got one of them on this side of the train, so he's going to try to suppress the Gorkanaut. So my slap back from him is less painful. And
it's a Morkanaut.
The Orkanaut, the knot. And that's it. I'm going to do some shooting, and we'll see if it does anything. So shooting, we did pick up 2 of these flamer ones. I got a bunch of wounds through with my crack missiles, but rolled 3 1s and a 2 on the damage, so we didn't kill that many. We killed 2 of them and got this one down to 1. And we did 2 wounds to this squad in the shooting. So yeah, not a whole lot of damage done in the shooting. We did fire our suppressors, so this unit is suppressed, and the Morkanaut is suppressed. So they'll be -1 to hit both in shooting and fighting until the start of my next turn. And then we're going to charge with these guys. We came here to play some games, so we're going to charge into the Killicans and see if we can wreck them. So we completed our charge in here, but kind of whiffed on the charge, on the combat here. This is not my oath target, but I get +1 to hit them because they are above half strength or above. But I still rolled a lot of 1s and 2s in my hit. So we did end up picking up 2 of them, which is good. There's 4 left. And on the slap back, we just got 1 little Marine killed, and the Thunderhammer is down to 1 wound. So we didn't take that much damage in response, but I would have liked to have killed, 3 or 4 of them. But on to DJ's turn.
Sabotage and Defend Stronghold are the name of the game, as well as we're calling the WA. Lane's got some mean stuff coming in, and for me with this list, I like the WA for the 5-up invulnerable save. That's a big part of it for me. Advance and charge is nice too, especially when you have things like Mega Knobs getting out of vehicles. All right, so we did bring the Grots out of the Morkanaut back here to cover this backfield to defend Stronghold, and the home field objective is very important. On top of that, we spread out these cans just to protect us from some of the deep strike here, kind of so really don't get hit in this window that's open here. So that's kind of a little bit of a defensive play. And then some other stuff. So from left to right, we fell back with the cans. And we did that last to prevent an Overwatch that Lane already used, which didn't really matter, but that was the tech play there, was to wait to take them out of there last, so I didn't get Overwatch with something else. Scorcher cans moved up. They're going to flame on and then charge. Morkanaut moved up. He's going to shoot and potentially charge if there's anything left there. He is on the -1 to hit, so it's going to take a little bit more for him to, actually do some work. And then over here, like I said, the cans moved up. We only got 3 that are really going to be able to be active. Well, maybe 4. This guy probably could draw a line in there. Tank busters are out, ready to do some tank busting. We'll see how they do against this this Land Raider over here. And then the Meks, the Mega Knobs got out and advanced, so they're ready not only to fight, but mess up anybody who gets out of there too. Over here, the Gorkanauts. He moved over, and he's going to draw a 36-inch range with his Shutas and his big Gatling cannon and try and mess with some of those the supercessors over there.
Suppressors.
So, like I said it right. And then this truck, just tagging in, didn't need to be wholly within, just need to be within. This terrain, this piece of terrain is not within my deployment zone, so he's going to sabotage it. It's very orky, sabotage something on your side of the field. You know, just gets the job done. All right, let's do some shooting. Got a lot of shooting to do this turn. For those who say that orcs are not a shooting army, times like this make them right.
You've got the Land Raider down to 5 wounds.
We did do a lot of damage. But definitely that suppression really did hurt. It changed a lot of my game plan on what I was doing with stuff. So the Gorkanaut over here, shot down at the Super Sisters and was able to kill one and put one on a wound. Again, 36-inch range, so we weren't able to do very, very much with it, but we did pop the additional AP, which helped out in that scenario, because we just rolled it. Over here, tank busters did not bust the tank, but they beat it up pretty nasty. The squigs kind of failed, only got 1 wound off each of the squigs. Both of them did hit. And then the the actual tank busters themselves, the AP with the 2-up save was a little tough, plus that higher toughness. They were able to do decent. They did decent for this. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
They got hits and wounds, but a 2-up armored vehicle.
Yeah, that 2-up armor
is not their
was
ideal
tough.
target.
That was really tough. Same to be true with the cans. We gave them the strat for full rerolls, no hazardous damage. They did. Were effectively able to hit really well. Again, the save, the cover factor, because this guy's just hanging out back here. That was kind of a big deal. So that was really tough to just finish off the Land Raider. So we're gonna have to charge into it. Now I was getting crafty with it and gonna say, okay, let's split fire and have this Gorkanaut go in there. But again, because the Gorkanaut suppressed, even though he had +1 to hit, he would get technically -2. Now, you only can have the effect of 1 negative modifier, whether it's plus or minus. Since I gave my guy +1, that -2 actually comes into effect here and would have had me hitting on 6s since he's stock a 5 to hit. So nothing really I could do in there. Couldn't really use the strat because it would have cost me additional command point over there. Was not the route I wanted to go in this scenario. So instead, we just shot into the guys right in front of us, and still that suppression mattered, missing quite a few shots going into these guys. I think we picked up. Well, in here we picked up what? Oh no, that was the
Flamers.
Yeah, so we didn't do too much in there with the Gorkanaut, and then we weren't able to pick up these guys either, which was kind of necessary. So we're really going to have to push through and slam through these guys here in the fight phase. The Scorcha cans did amazing. We elected to go with the additional AP for 6s since we don't roll to hit, and 22 flamer shots from those 4 little dudes. Very, very nice. Very happy about that. They did a lot of damage, and that additional AP was a big threat. So that took a good chunk out for us to move into the fight phase. So we're going to do some charges here and see what we can pick up, because you know what? We're Ork, and we're in the WA. All right, so stuff got really, really messy in the combat stuff. And stuff went well, stuff went bad. So, charging, Mega Knobs and the Tank Busters successfully made it in. The Tank Hammer did get some mortal devastating wounds through, but unfortunately it was only 1. And the other Tank Busters was kind of unique, being able to have some of their buffs and stuff, but still not there. Mega Knobs with the kill saws and the twin linked was where it was at. They were able to finish off the Land Raider. Unfortunately, I was trying to get that tank bust is to finish off beforehand so I could pile in and then fight these guys. So that's going to be rough. We got some hammers that are getting out of there, and they're right in the position where they want to be to hit me next turn. In other news over here, the Morkanaut charged in, and we had to spend 2 command points to tank shock, and unfortunately we're only able to get 2 mortal wounds. The Morkanaut really just whiffed. It hit well, even in lieu of the -1 to hit, but then it started rolling 1s for the big hit, for the full 6 damage, and then the Proteus kill team just absolutely tanked it. Once again, the story of the day is over here with these Scorchas, the Scorcha Killicans. They were the ones who went in there, whooping and a walloping, and actually did a lot more damage than the Morkanaut did. Simple as that. So the Scorchacans did well. We got 2 Terminators and the Watchmaster left alive over here for right now. So that did well. Both of our secondaries, though, we have to wait till the end of Lane's turn before we can actually score them. So that is going to be the end of my turn, and we're going to kick it over to Lane and his DeathWatch turn 2 and see what he decides to bring in and mess with us with.
Okay, so we're just going all in this little section here. We're going to try and kill these guys and this guy and these guys. So we just brought in our Plasma Inceptors. Remember, the Watchmaster lets his units fall back, shoot, and charge.
And Lane passed a Battle Shock.
I did pass a Battle Shock with them. Good job for me. And then these guys moved up here so they can shoot here or shoot there or punch or fight or do cool stuff. Terminators dropped in, and then these
there was
Jump Pack Intercessors came over here to go after that character and got overwatched by the Gorgonaut.
I rolled lethal for his buff. Sustained for his buff, and he just said, no, get off this objective.
Yeah, because DJ could not overwatch over here. The Watchmaster would make it cost 2 CP, and he only had 1. So
and then the really other guys right over here, too. So the big part of Lane's list, I want to take a second to talk about this, is with this being able to make everything cost additional. So I can't overwatch with my flamers over here because he's got the aura effect here and the aura effect here. And this is one of the big changes with the Pariah Nexus, is now all that CP increasing is an aura effect, but it's everything. It's not just a target. So anything in here, I'm not going to be able to overwatch. I'm not going to be able to use defensive strats, really, because I only have 1 command point.
Guys, we brung it down. The Morkanaut got lit up by the Plasma Inceptors, and despite the fact that they overcharged, they did not blow themselves up. So good job there, guys. The Frag Cannons did some work and picked up the 2 Mega Knobs. The character is still there. And then that's really it for the shooting. We picked up a couple tank busters with some bolter fire, put some shots into these guys and suppress them. So now I got to make some decisions with charging. I think I'm going to go in the middle here just so I can pick up a couple character assassinate points, hopefully. And then make some decisions about where we go here. We gotta finish off some of these cans because they're still kind of strong. It was, in fact, time to bonk this squad of DeathWatch veterans here, because they're re-rolling all their hits against Xenos. Did pretty well and picked up both the Mega Knob, or the Big Mech in Mega Armor, and the rest of the Tank Buster squad with the mech there. So I got 2 kills for Assassinate, so that gives me 8 there. And in here, we did some bonking. Picked up 2 more of these with the Watchmaster and the Terminators, and picked up 1 of these Jump Assessors. These Killicans failed to do any damage on the swingback, but this guy,
he got angry.
He rolled sustained for his special, and then he got 3 sixes. So he got 6 hits, did a bunch of damage, picked up both Terminators there. Did make some of my 4-up invulns, but picked up the 2 Terminators. So just the Watchmaster and this guy locked in mortal combat. On to DJ's turn.
All right, that was a very, very rough turn. So we're struggling, and we'll see what we can make happen here. So, for starters, we moved the Gorgonaut up. Oh, let's talk about secondaries. We got Storm Hostile Objective and Establish Loki. So, Storm Boys are going to get me that 4 points over there in the corner. So that's a positive. Gorgonaut being Titanic moved up and tagged is right in the middle, holding that objective. And he's going to be able to shoot at the Terminators if we do sufficient damage with these guys right here into these Space Marines of sorts in the middle. Then over here we stayed in combat because moving out is not going to help us very much. So we just kind of got to fight our way through and see what we can make happen. Try and do some damage. Try and, you know, flame on over here. He's been rocking it, so maybe he can keep it going. And I did fall back because you got 8 points on Assassinate right now. So I did bring him back, this one mech. I tried to advance him further. I got a 1. So we just went into hiding for right now. See what we can do. It's risky. If I could have moved him up to heal to kill a can, but I just didn't feel like that would be the way. I'd feel like pull him back. I don't know. That one I'm still questioning. I could have healed the can and just been up there, but I think staying back and trying to preserve that one character is probably the better way to go, just because I don't have enough damage to remove all of this, and they can just funnel all of their shooting right into that mech and kill him. So that was the way I went for right now. Now I'm really second guessing it. I actually think I'm going to move that mech up there. I think I'm going to not advance and move the mech up there just to heal and bring him into combat, because then I get the boost. I'm going to talk about that with Lane for a minute. We'll talk about that in a second. But mostly, we are going to be just trying to push on this objective for Storm Hostile to try and take this away. We got a lot of work to do in there. Those guys have a 4-up invuln, so that's going to be definitely some work to do. And we are only running on 1 command point. Oh, we did move the truck back over here, and we picked up some grots. We're going to try and, you know, maybe get them in a better position for endgame primary. All right, let's get over to the shooting. All right, so we're cutting this in for a dice roll just to see, because this could be hilarious on this. So I rolled the number of shots, and combined with the number of the blast factor, we have additional AP. So 6s to wound are going to be additional AP. So
that doesn't really matter because the unit has a 4-up invuln from the librarian.
Yeah.
What does matter is that DJ rolled really high on his number of shots. And
yes. Yeah, there was an insane amount. So we had...
And plus he gets... there's 10 guys in that squad, so he gets blast. So he gets 12 on the blast. And then you got... I think you rolled 5 threes?
6. I think it was like D3? 16, 18, somewhere around there for it.
Yeah,
so
16.
Yeah,
yep.
It's nuts. So we decided this is a lot of dice. Let's roll it and see if the miracle can happen. So we are not minus to hit, because we're right there in your face.
Hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 4s.
Just up you rolled the dice real bad.
Oh, don't start with me. Don't start with me. Yeah, like that. Like
that. I spoke it into existence.
Oh, you did. So
let me help you remove all these losers.
And then I need 2s. Well, it's a good thing I had that many dice. So now we're looking at 2s to wound you. All right.
Only 3 ones then.
Still yucky.
I'll just roll these for you. So all that turned into 7 wounds. I do get 4-up invuln, so now it's up to me to fail all these dice rolls.
Fail them all. No.
I fail 3.
So
it gets 3 guys.
Only 3. I tell you what, this Gorkanaut has been on pin with his shooting, at least. The cans, as you guys seen, did not do well. Should have shown the Gorkanaut, as he just went absolute warpath and ripped through the majority of that squad. So we're going to have to do some charges in there to clean them up, because we took the objective, so that's the most important thing. But we still need to do some fighting. Over here, the Scorcher, I think he's starting to burn out, because he only did 1 wound. He only got 1 shot with his flamer. And then over here, these guys shot at the assault intercept, or the plasma interceptors, and they failed. So now we're going to do some charges and see if we can't pick some stuff up, and then moving on. These cans are just not loving me today. So we just couldn't do it. We just couldn't hit. We picked up the squad. The librarian is still alive with a single wound. And it's not because Lane proc saves. It's because I couldn't roll hits. Lane made a comment. He's like, man, you're getting a lot of sustained hits on those dice rolls. I'm like, well, I'm rolling a lot of 1s and 2s today, which has been the trend with the cans. The cans have been not really pulling their weight, per se. A lot of other stuff has been, but just not the cans. Minus the Scorcher cans. Scorcher cans did great. Scorcher cans did gates. The rocket cans that are not doing too well. These ones over here, though, kind of make me say differently, because they did pick up the 3. They picked up 2 of the assault intercessors. The mech was able to pick up 1. but they are battle shocked, so they are not able to help with the objective over here. And then this one can there, he's down to 1 wound. Watchmaster smacked him pretty good, so that was kind of lame. That was lame, silly Watchmaster. So we will get 8 on our secondaries because we did overwhelming force and objective, and we established a Loki, and that's going to be it. All right, over to Lane and his turn, bottom of 3 or bottom of 3, yeah,
Bottom 3. Okay, so not a whole lot moving here, just wiggled around some suppressors a little bit. Terminators came up here because they're going to take a charge at these guys, see if we can do a little work. They are my oath target, so now we're going to do a little bit of shooting and see if we can, pick up all this business here and then see if we can charge it and do some work here. Took a little doing here, but these suppressors shot in and picked up the Flamer, Scorcha, last of the Scorcha, Killicans, and then the Plasma Inceptors overcharged, blasted away at these guys. I did like 6 wounds to them at 3 damage apiece, but DJ rolled 4 6s on his saves.
Yeah, that time.
So he spiked his saves real hard and kept one alive with 2 wounds, but because the Watchmaster was now free, he threw a grenade and finished off the last of them. We did pick up one of these guys with some suppressor fire, a few bolter shot from the lieutenant here, managed to finish him off.
Talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I forgot the lieutenant's going to do his little move afterwards. Yep, right there. After he shoots, he gets to move. And then we're going to have some Terminators charge in here and bonk, bonk, bonk. And the Watchmaster is going to charge and see if we can finish off this mech. All right, so we bonked. Was able to bonk a couple of these guys away. DJ spent the CP. Now, it's 1 CP normally, but he had 2 CP, and he had to spend 2 because this sneaky little guy was making his strats more expensive. So he did spend 2 to reduce damage by 1. Otherwise, I would have picked up 4 of the Killicans. I ended up picking up 2 of them because my Thunderhammers are only 1 damage. So still killed a couple of them, but DJ in response killed the Librarian and picked up 1 of the Thunderhammer Terminators. Over here, the Watchmaster did his slaps and picked up the mech, and he'll consolidate onto the objective because he can, as is his wont to do. On to DJ's turn.
All right, here we go. We got behind enemy lines and secure no man's land. So we're sitting good with secure no man's land for now. But we do still have these Terminators that we're fighting in combat. They are OC1 versus my OC2. So we'll see how that goes, how that's going to finish up. Because we don't really have any shots to go in there. So it's just going to be fight, fight, fight. And there's 4 of them to our 3 cans. Now, we moved the truck. We moved this guy up. Yeah, that thing. And we are going to shoot everything at him. Now, he doesn't have Lone Up, which means Mr. Gork is able to draw a line of sight, and he is going to be pouring the heavens onto that one little guy. It is very, very important that he dies. So he's probably going to put everything into him to make sure that he is dead. And then, they're rockets. They can shoot it at something up here. Maybe try and finish off these suppressors. That's really about it for them over there. But the big talking point is these Storm Boys with advance and charge capabilities, rolled a 6, came rushing over here, laying Overwatch, 2 wounds, and through 2 6s, they are coming after them. We're going in, and we're gonna. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Stop at that point. We stop the crap talk. Okay. All right. First of all, let's do some shooting. Gork, you've been on it. Keep it going, man. Keep it going. Gork, you did it. Man, Gork is MVP this game. Other games he's just gotten not done too well. This game, he said yes. Finished off that lieutenant, which was very important because now I can spend only 1 command point to give these guys reduced damage by 1, which is very important with all those hammers over there. And then over here, we're going to do some charges. It's time. Storm Boys, going to charge in there.
Oh, they are? Are you declaring a charge?
Yes, Lane, I'm declaring
spending 1
charge.
CP. Let's see if I get it back. I do. So I still have a CP. Magnificent. They are Phobos. So they will move 6 inches away from you.
All right, so it's going to make my charge a little harder.
10-inch charge.
All right. So you're saying it's a 10?
I'm saying it's a 10. You're going to throw some dice here on camera. Oh, no, here it comes.
That's a 3.
That's
so I need a 7 on the other one.
Oh,
I got halfway there. All right. So let's do these other combats over here, and we'll just wrap it up. Okay. So there was a big mistake. Maybe some people caught. So the strat that allows me to reduce damage by 1 can only be used in the shooting phase. So we had to go back and do a little bit of cleanup here. So the cans took a lot more damage. Basically, I lost more of them. Now, this turn, Lane did not have that much success with the hammers. So he finished off. So he was able to finish off 1 can, and so I still have 1 at full health. But basically, since I couldn't reduce the damage, we went back and just did the math on it for what was left, what would have been killed, and basically pulled the can and had the other one scraping, holding on to life. And then even though Lane only got through with 1 hammer, that was enough to finish off that can. We went back and checked the battle shock, did test it, did pass. The only other thing that it changed was because I didn't have those cans there, because I didn't have access to that strat, I needed to put the Gretchen on the table to guarantee that I'd be able to hold this objective. The other thing that's kind of a bummer is that was the whole point of taking out this character, was so that I could use that 1 CP. So there's a lot of misplays into that. The Gork and I could have went into other directions, could have maybe hit these suppressors and done some work over there. All in all, that's not how that went down. So yes, the stratagem to reduce damage is only for shooting attacks, so I could not use that on the cans. So it cost me an additional can and almost another one. And then that hammer finished it off, which then meant I did significantly less damage. We are still able to hold this objective and control it, because we do have, even if Lane did pick them up and moved on there, we still had the grots over here to guarantee that we held that objective for a secure no man's land, and the one over here that we picked up at the beginning of the turn. So I used that 1 command point that I was saving to try to reroll their charge for the 10. Still failed it, so they were not able to get in there. So as a penalty for my misplay, I am still losing the 2 command points that I spent last turn to do the buff over here. Since that was my bad, I did misread the stratagem, and we're going to move on. So yeah, just basically the only thing that changed was I lost some more cans. I still would have controlled the objective. I still got the primary points on it, and we're still in a good position for secure no man's land as we pass the turn. And we also have 1 unit for behind enemy lines with the Storm Boys back there. And that's going to be it. And we're going to go and kick it over to Lane in his bottom of turn 4.
Going to have to do something about these Storm Boys, or else they're going to storm my objective here. So these guys came back after tactically retreating, and now they're going to see if they can do something about them. Going to see if we can do something about him with these Plasma Inceptors that dropped in, because I uppy-downy them at the end of the last turn. Suppressors came up here, but then the Grots did their shenanigans where they did D3 plus 1 mortal wounds to me and also moved 6 inches. So that's that. That's it for the movement. Now we're just going to do some shooting. So these guys threw a grenade, which picked up 4, and then they shot everything at it and didn't do very many wounds. Now, the toughness 5 on Orks makes them kind of tough to shoot with basic
toughness 5. He's saving everything.
And also, for some reason, Orks, I didn't realize that this additional Orks have a 5-up save instead of the old 6-up. So, Plasma Inceptor is blasted away at the Gorkanaut. Only did 9 wounds, so he's still there. And then Suppressor is blasted away into the Grots. Picked up 6 or 7 of them. So, picked up a bunch. 8 Grots.
2 Grots and the Rut Herder left.
Yeah, we'll charge in to finish them off here and then resolve this fighting. Here we go. Let's fight. All right, these guys finished off the last of the Storm Boys. And then we finished off the Grots with all the suppressors punching in here. And then these guys, the Killican whiffed into me, but then I was not able to finish him off. He's down to 1 wound, so he's got 1 wound left. Wasn't quite able to finish him off. However, we now contest this objective, so DJ doesn't control it. My Plasma Inceptors control that objective. So it's going to tie up DJ on primary there. On to his turn.
All right, so looking at containment, and we're looking at Mark for Death. Lane picked his Watchmaster hiding over here in the corner, his Terminations, and
Infiltrators.
These guys. So there's nothing I can really get for the Mark for Death. I could fall back and pour shots into the Terminators, but I don't think the Gorkanaut has enough damage into it. Looking at measurements, it's getting a charge on them is like, that's an absolute geometry nightmare. So I'm not going to try for it. And honestly, it looks like it's like a 10 or 11 with only one command point to bank it on. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to try to we're going to try and pick up all of his shootier units that can infiltrate. So like these guys and these guys. And then we just zoned out around here. We're going to clean that up a little bit now because you have one more that can do that. But we're going to zone out so that at least we're going to try and protect this mech who healed and buffed our Gorkanaut. And the Gorkanaut's just going to try and shoot down some of the jumpy, shooty guys. And yeah, and then we're going to charge some grots. So, all right. We'll be right back after that. This Gorkanaut really came to shoot today. I can't even tell you how much. It was like, I did sustained, I did the re-rolls, I did everything to shoot into the squad. And that Gatling cannon alone put so many wounds. I mean, it was like, I think I had 15 hits that were just sustained a lot. I think it was like 30 hits just off the sustained alone. And then just so much damage. So we were able to pick up these guys without even having to charge them. Over here, we picked up the assault intercessors, the suppressors that were here. Got rid of them. And the Terminators did finish me off in combat with that. I did charge and did one little piddly damage to him with the tracks. Couldn't hit it with the Wrecking Ball, the invisible Wrecking Ball. But that's going to be it. So we're going to get a couple points for containment. And we did not get the Mark for Death because we weren't able to take out any of the three. And we're going to kick it over to Lane for his cleanup and the final score for this game.
So now DJ's Gorkanaut did take some damage in his turn from his hazardous tests, and he had 3 wounds left. Me, out of pure spite, chose to Oath of Moment him. I got my these guys up here, the Infiltrators and the Watchmaster, and they were able to scrape the last 3 wounds off of him because DJ rolled nothing but 2s on his saves, and we were able to pick up.
Story of my game.
I was hoping, now because he's a big boy, if he explodes, he does D6 mortals. He might have just picked up the last character he had on the table. He did not explode. So it was purely a satisfaction kill and finishing him off. And then here, we weren't even able to pick up this truck because we didn't know the momentum, but we took the objective. So I ended up with 13 on primary last turn here. It's 5 for the Watchmaster, and then the 3 here. So that was just enough to push me over the top. So that means DeathWatch in the Vanguard Spearhead Detachment had 79, and the Orks Dread Mobb had 72. So a really close game. Won by 7 points there, and picking up the Gorkanaut, we'd already maxed out, bring it down. So it was just purely to spite DJ. But follow us over to the post game battle report, and we'll talk it all out. See you guys over there.